I'll do my own.
Recording started.
Recording has started.
I'll be in best behavior starting now.
We're not going to behave on this thing, are we? That's not going to be fun.
Well, I'll watch my language. How about that?
I fucking dare you.
I like to cuss. It's one of my worst or best qualities, depending on what kind of person you like.
I think it's fun to hear how creative that not only your musical side is, but how your cussing is. It's in its own little world, I think.
It is. And it's so funny because, like, in my shows, you can always tell when the buzz kicks in because the F word starts coming out. And it's like at the beginning of the show, I'm all mild and meek. No, I'm never mild and meek, but I'm just doing my thing. And by the end of it, it's like, yeah, let's go. F word, F word. I freaking love you guys. Yeah.
I'm talking with Jenni Dale Lord, which the intro should have told you that. I did an intro, I believe. And she just got back from, this is one of my favorite people that I tour with, one of my favorite people before we even did a show together. I'd already loved her music. Then I got to meet her. I love the person. I don't remember which one of us was like, we need to do a show together. But then that turned out to be one of my favorite nights ever. And then we just kept doing it. So
yeah, I love it.
Jenni's joining me today because not only do we have a lot to talk about, and I've been trying to get her on the podcast for a while, but I thought, what a better time than you coming back from Ireland. And it's 2 weeks too that you're out there.
2 weeks and a day. Yeah.
And you were saying that like even they had like a limit on the packing. Like
well, we did because I was one of 8 ladies that were going, and so I have a friend who's originally from Cork. I tried to work on my Irish whenever I was there. It looks like Cork, but they say Cork over there, which is a southern city, and from what I understand, like the biggest city. It's even like bigger than Dublin. Who's originally from there but lives in Lubbock, which for anybody who doesn't know, that's where I live now, and kind of have been born and raised here. And so every summer she takes a few groups to Ireland, gives her a chance to see her family and still make some money while she's over there. 7 of us got together and squeezed into the biggest van you could rent, which is like a large minivan. So it's not even like the vans we tour around in or 15 passenger or anything like that, because apparently if you drive a vehicle bigger than that, you have to have what they call a limousine license. And she just has your standard driver's license. So she got the biggest van she could get with 0 trunk space, basically. And so she told us that we all had to bring as little stuff as we possibly could, with the suggestion of 3 pairs of pants, 5 shirts, a raincoat. It rains every day in Ireland, no matter the season, I found out. And so I took no makeup, so just the bare essentials. So this is the first time I put on makeup in like 3 weeks. So it's like, I forgot how much I hate this. What I did is I flew into Dublin and then kind of toured around through Middle Ireland and Northern Ireland, which Northern Ireland is technically part of the UK because the British people tried to rule Ireland for like 800 years, and they got the top part of it in like a treaty sort of a thing. So the Southern Ireland, they refer to as the Republic of Ireland. And so we had to have different currencies depending on which part we were in. But anyhow, we drove, I think the longest drive we had was like me going to Dallas, and I crossed the island. It was cool. I mean, yeah, the one day with 7 women, I'll tell you this, I was the youngest woman there. So a 5-hour car ride takes longer than 5 hours when you're with 7 older women. But, but it was good. We had a great time.
Did you get to experience any new foods? I saw like one post with a bunch of food that I've never seen in my life. Because I know whatever the locals are having, that's what Jenni Dale Lord wants to eat. So what did you get to indulge in while you were there?
Exactly right. They love fish and chips there. So I had some fish and chips. I got to tell you, my least favorite thing I ate was fish and chips. I was like, man, give me something more exciting. Give me something better. They love potatoes, chips. You can have chips with your mashed potatoes. And chips, by the way, is big, chunky fries is what we call them. They call potato chips crisps. But they will serve you like 5 different styles of potatoes on your plate and be like, here you go. That's not unusual, but that is something very common that they do over there. I'd say it's some of the most unusual things I ate were the black and white pudding. Are you familiar with that?
Mm-mm. Is it
So
like
it's
go
not
ahead.
pudding at all. I don't know why they even call it pudding, but that's what it's called. So, like, if you get a traditional Irish breakfast, it's going to have a fried egg, Irish bacon, which is they call American bacon streaky bacon. So it's a different style of bacon, the way that it's made, different style of breakfast sausages, and then pudding. So black pudding is a mixture of meat, grains, and blood, which
Did you say
gives it a,
blood?
yes, I did.
It almost sounded like you said blood.
Yes, I said blood.
It was blood. Okay.
It
I'm
was
like, I'm
blood.
sorry, we're getting a mix up
Yeah,
real quick.
so it's
It's
like
almost
cereals. They call it cereals, meat, and blood, and into this giant sausage, like the size of a summer sausage, and they cut it into slices, and that's what you get. That's the black pudding, and it's black because of the blood. And they have the white pudding, which is the same stuff but without the blood. And so, if you're afraid of the blood, get the white pudding. But I got to tell you, as somebody who's not afraid of any food, the black pudding had the most flavor. It had this umami, interesting characteristic to it that the white pudding didn't have. That was the most unique thing that I ate, but it's not unique over there. Like the Brits love it, the Irish love it. It's a very common thing for breakfast over there.
were you able to meet any of the locals out there? Did
Yes, one of my favorite stories is so I mentioned earlier it rains a lot, and so our first day in Dublin, which was the end of the tour. So our tour guide, who is my friend that lives here that took us, basically after 10 days said, "Okay, here's your stay in Dublin, peace," and left. So we were
you
fending for ourselves in Dublin, trying to figure out what to do. And the first day we got there, it poured rain the whole entire day, so it made it very difficult to sightsee. And plus, we were, just in raincoats, bearing the weather. We didn't have a vehicle. We had a train pass. That was pretty much about it. So we stumbled into this little bar called the International Bar, and it was super cool. There was this bartender there who used to live in New York City and is in the fashion industry, and had this beautiful bleached blonde white faux hawk, and every word out of his mouth was some sort of sarcasm in the funniest way. And he fed me lots of whiskey. We became really great friends. We're now friends on social media. I assume he gave me this hat. I wish I had brought it with me, like a fedora style hat. And he said, "Here, this is for you." And I didn't ask if some drunk person had left it there, that he was just throwing it on my head, which I'm pretty sure is what had happened. But so I left with a really nice buzz and a really cool fedora. And yeah, I tried to make friends with the local people whenever I could. I think that's part of the thing you need to do when you travel. You need to go be with the people and see what they're all about. And especially when you want to go eat somewhere, you always want to go where the locals go. You don't want to go to the touristy places and stuff like that. So the
yeah.
people were amazing. They are the nicest people I ever met. Like, they are manners out the wazoo. They cuss a lot, so we got along great. And they say feckin' over there. Feckin', Feckin, and like they even have it on T-shirts, like feckin' Egypt and feckin' feckin'. I was like, I love it because you can say that, and maybe you're not cussing. The word feck is not a cuss word over here. So
But it's
so
getting feckin'.
um,
Feckin'. Am I
feck,
saying that right?
feck,
Feckin'?
feck,
Feckin'.
Feck.
It sounds weird. I think the Irish would probably even
You
make
gotta
fun
have
of you.
the Irish accent when you did it. Feckin'
Oh,
Egypt.
is that what it is?
Yeah, yeah.
I immediately go into a pirate accent. That's not cool. That's
It's
not
easy to
awesome.
do with the
I
Irish because you go, "Arr."
R. You start with R, and then after a while you start working, and then you throw in a feckin'.
Yes, I have
It
I have
still
one.
sounds like a
You did really good. Your feckin' sounded perfect. I've got one really good Irish accent line that I picked up on throughout the trip, because we were in this town called Portrush, and kind of walking the streets. And again, it's raining, and so ladies are popping in and out of stores, and I'm just kind of standing in the sidewalk because I'm not much of a shopper. And there's a group of us there, and this guy walks by, and barely makes his way through us, and he goes, "They just stand in the middle of the road." We're talking about the sidewalk, but they just stand in the middle of the road. Now, in times that we're like in the airport walking by, we're like, "They just stand in the middle of the road." And so it's, when we say that at one of our shows, you'll know what I'm talking about.
I want you to say that. Seamus, Seamus, quit standing in the middle of the road.
Exactly right.
Don't forget also on this tour, I want you to call me Seamus. That's going to be
Shameless,
awesome.
I will. I thought you said shameless at first. I'll call you shameless or Shameless. You know,
Same. Shameless,
out in
Seamus.
the middle of the road.
I saw like the day you were back, you were already like, all right, it's time to hit the road. It's time to get back at it. I'm assuming you took last weekend off. You're going to be going back at it. You do a singer-songwriter thing over at William Chris Vineyards. I know you get
Yes.
some really, really cool artists this year. Have you already done the show with Brandon Ryder yet?
That one is, I think, on October 19th.
Okay.
So really looking forward to that one. Your friend that I met with you in San Angelo, Dallas Owens, I think is July 19th.
Okay.
So really excited. I got lots of, you were one of my first, if not my first guest of this year's season, if you will. So we always have some great guests. Our buddy John Young has been out there, and yeah, it's great. Lots of
Solid.
is going to be out there with me one weekend in July, and yeah.
Check those dates at the William Chris Vineyards out in High, Texas, if you're in the area. One of my favorite things about Jenni is that she has surrounded herself with great songwriters. And did I introduce you to John Young? Was that the Veterans Day
Yeah, that was
salute?
the
Was that where
Veterans
y'all
Day
met?
at Falls, yeah. I just
Be-
remember, like, he was up there, and I was just like this the whole entire time, like, "Oh my god." And
His
then we went,
voice.
yeah, his voice is amazing. And then when we went back to your house and just played music the rest of the night, I was just like, this is the best.
That's all I thought about. Like as soon as I saw y'all hanging out, I was like, oh my gosh, my worlds are colliding and I love it. Like
I
my
just
worlds should be colliding a lot more. I have really, really cool friends.
you
Um,
do.
I do want to talk a little bit about your album. It came out October of 2024.
It did.
Uh, Lots of great reviews that came out with it.
Thank
I
you.
I got to know the album because around that time we started touring together, and even before the release of the album, we were doing shows together. So I
Right.
got like sneak peeks of some of the
You
songs
did.
before they came out, and I love each and every one of them. Some heartfelt songs, a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge in them. I want you to take a moment out of all the million moments. See what I did there?
Yes, you did.
Uh, on the album, and let me know, was there anything that really stood out to you, like out of all of them, that's the one that you really, really loved?
Well, so I have two for different reasons. You know this, when you make an album, no matter how hard you work on it and how perfect you try to make it, uh, there's a limit onto what you can do within the time frame that you have, and you do the best that you can within this time frame. And then you go back and you listen, and you're like, oh, maybe I should have done this that way, or maybe I should have sang that line a little differently. Um, there's only one song on the album that I don't do that with, and that's Sailing.
Mm.
I listen to Sailing and I think I wouldn't change a thing. And that's something that's never happened to me before. So in terms of that particular quality, I think Sailing is the best song on the album. But the song for me that every time it comes on and I just go, oh, I love that song, is Wake Up Again. It's not perfect, but there's just something about the music and the groove and the message and the story that just it just really does something for me every time I hear it. And so those would be my two favorite songs on the album. But that particular album is one of the, I mean, they're all personal, but that one is like super personal. My grandmother died while I was making it. So there's a song about her on there. My autobiography, A Million Moments, is on there. And so there's little homages to my family histories and my heritage and all that stuff that I hadn't really done on a record before. So um, to pick one song is a little difficult because there's really something in almost all of them that means something to me in a special or different way than previous albums.
That's great. Yeah, I know that we had talked before about Christopher Cross and the sailing. And I think we listened to a sample of it before you released it.
We
Like
did.
yeah. Because I remember us talking about it and then you saying, I did a Christopher Cross song. And this became like, oh, I gotta hear it. Like this became a whole thing. Like now I have to hear it because I love Christopher Cross. So getting to hear that tune was amazing. And every time I hear that part or the beginning, because the intro's got that cool little, it's real nice and steady,
Yeah.
just like the OG version. And yeah, I love it as well. If you're going to it, that's one of the ones I would quickly get to because I absolutely love that song.
Thank
And
you.
the stories behind it. You kind of throw in a cover with each album. Is that true, or has it just
This
been
is the
recently?
first time I've ever covered a song.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Okay.
yeah.
That's
The
I'm
sailing
thinking
is
of Jared
the first
Medulla is what I was thinking of. Jared
mm,
Medulla throws in one cover
cover.
for
Well,
every
because
album.
he's on my record too, so I can see why you would think about him.
There's
Yeah.
there's the connection.
Yeah,
There's
and
the
so the
connection.
song that Jerry so what's really cool is, I started doing the Americana recently rather than focusing on the Texas country like I have been, and, my song with Jared Medulla is, played on The Village on Sirius XM, which is really exciting.
Oh, that's greatness.
Yeah.
Awesome. I know I was going to ask you a little bit about that one. You do I Still Think About You on your album with Jared Medulla, and I'm lucky I get to do that song with you whenever we play live. What brought that together? Like, what was it? The songwriter retreats or the
No,
songwriter shows? Or
I I love Jared Medulla. I'm a huge fan, and I've always wanted to have do a song with him. I'm a duet lover. In fact, I do have duets on all my records. I think except for one, I didn't have a duet on. But it's just collaborating with other people, and I find these voices that I fall in love with. And I've already warned you that we're going to have a duet on one of my records one day, probably the next one and stuff like that. I've already got ideas and all kinds of stuff. So from the minute I heard him, I knew I wanted to sing a song with him, and I had written this duet, but it wasn't as good as it could have been. And I gave it to Jared, and I was like, Jared, what do you think about this song? And he was like, I would love to do it with you. Let's change this. Let's do that. And kind of, he really just kind of came in and made it the song that it is today. And he's a fantastic songwriter, and I love his voice, and he's easy on the eyes, which is always nice too. And so it's just I wanted to do a song with him. It's just duets are a passion of mine, and I hope to sing with all the people that I love someday.
that's cool. You had one with Sonny Sauceda. Did I get that right?
Sunny Sauceda, yes.
Every time I try to do his name, I love
Ah,
that dude so
you can
much.
do it. Yeah.
I just mess his name up and I feel horrible every time. I did get to see him at the award show. One of the most vibrant human beings out there. I love Sonny to death, and I love the tune that the Nada. What is it called? What
Whole
is it
lot
called?
of nada.
Oh, Lada Nada.
Yeah. So Bernie
Yeah.
Nelson and Billy O'Rourke wrote that song. One thing I do occasionally is record songs that I didn't write, which I think is keeps things fresh. And so Bernie Nelson and Billy O'Rourke had written that song, and it was actually sitting in George Strait's camp for a while, and George Strait passed on it, and then I got to do it, and so I was really excited. I too love Sunny, and we kind of did like a Mavericks sort of vibe to it. And we wanted to have the accordion, and because the song itself was very acoustic, it was a lot slower. It was more leaning toward the country, and I was like, no, we're gonna Latin this thing up a little bit, and kind of we incorporated the accordion, or the squeeze box, I think is what Sonny refers to it as,
Mm.
and just really gave it like this really cool dancing vibe, and just I think kind of brought it to life, and it's a good one that I really like as well. Like I said, I love the whole album. I can't tell you that there's a song on there I would take off or change, or it's just it's unique, it's quirky, it's everything I wanted it to be, and now I'm just trying to figure out how I can do that with the next one.
It's an incredible album. Now we talked about it. You just mentioned it. I might be on the next album. So this leads me to the next question. Do you already have songs that you're working on? Do you have a
Yes.
theme? Do you kind of know what direction you're going in for the next album
Well,
about it?
I can tell you that so I'm working on a new album, which is not at all the album that I'm talking about, which I've alluded to that I've been doing something special. Maybe it comes with a cookbook. It's a whole thing. I think we've
Oh,
talked about that. But that's not going to be like the next album, and it is, but it's not. So like I'm working on 2 albums right now. I'm working on this one that I'm not ready to announce. That's going to come with something cool, which I'm anticipating it will come out in, I think, on December 5th, whatever the first Saturday of December of 2026 is going to be. But in the meantime, I'm working on another album, and it's got a few songs on it so far, and I've kind of gotten a little rock and roll on it. Like I've had some emotions, like, and they're not happy ones, and I just had this like inner rage that I've been letting out as it needed to come out. It's not Metallica, but maybe like little heart inspired in kind of some of the things that we're putting together. Um, I just basically decided as an artist, I'm not going to cater to a genre. I'm not going to cater to radio stations. I'm not going to cater to anybody. And I'm just going to make the music that I'm inspired to make. And it could be country, it could be rock, it could be blues, it could be whatever. It's just going to be whatever the song needs to be. And right now it's leaning a little more towards a little bit rock and roll kind of stuff.
So I get that. There is a freeing mentality and just the excitement of knowing no limits, just
Right.
me. Just me
That's
and music.
exactly right. And that's why I started doing music. I started doing music because it was an outlet that I needed to deal with whatever environmentally or internally I was going through, right? And it wasn't to try to have a number one song. It wasn't to try to be on these radio stations that keep giving you the cold shoulder and you keep trying and trying. It wasn't to do any of that stuff. So why am I doing that now? I mean, yes, we get goals and we want to achieve those goals. But ultimately, I feel like trying to achieve those goals was taking away from other things that I really love. And I don't want to do that anymore.
Well, I absolutely love that. And I love talking with you. I do want to ask you some, just a quick question. Favorite band from the 80s? Give me top
Okay.
three. Top
All
three.
right. Well, no, I can give you number one. Give you one number one.
Whoa.
They are, first off, let me tell you, my whole life I never had a favorite anything. I love all the food. I love all the booze. I love all the music. I love all the stuff.
Yes.
But within the last year, I have really come to have a favorite band. And they're actually touring with Christopher Cross right now. And it's this little band called Toto.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yes, I love Toto. No, that's so good.
Rosanna
Oh.
just might be the best composition ever. I mean, if you listen to it, I mean, lyrically it's fun, but musically it's genius. It's like got all of these buildups and breakdowns and the way that they section off how they do things, and you're like, oh, there's the organ. Where'd that piano come from? And it's just like all of this stuff. My favorite song, Rosanna. My favorite band, Toto.
There it is.
I
That's a
listen to
great
lots
answer.
of 80s music. Yeah.
That's a great answer. We've been talking with my girl, Jenni Dale Lord, who just got back from Ireland. She has a new album, A Million Moments, which you can go check that bad boy out. She will have new music, so detailed in her new music that she has a date for the second album, December of 2026. That's my girl that's always looking down the calendar, seeing what's next. She got goals.
Well, I'm lining it up with, all right, this will be a hint. You know, I do that big Christmas show every December, the first Saturday of December, called Cookies and Carols, where I bake 1,700 cookies and people come in. You know that show?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that date might also coincide with the Cookies and Carols.
I can't wait to play this back in 2 years or a year and a half. This that we are going on tour coming up in August. We'll be hitting up
July, actually.
Is it July?
July
It's the last day of July.
Yeah.
Final day of July. And what are we in Amarillo that night?
Yep. So I'll see with July 31st, the Golden Light Beer and Wine Garden in Amarillo.
Yeah.
August 1st, Copper Ridge in Pueblo West. And then August 2nd, Slavin's House Concert in Parker, Colorado, which we can invite people. So just because it's a house concert doesn't mean you can't come. And then Star Bar on 8-3 in Denver is going to be our upcoming run of shows, which I'm so excited about.
And then because we're going west, for that tour, and then we decided let's go east,
I
and
know,
so I
I
think we
love
hit up
it.
Texarkana. What do
Yeah,
we hit?
so
What
we
is
have
this?
Texarkana, Malvern, Arkansas, and we talked about going to Hot Springs. And so then when I was a little story kind of back to going to Ireland, where was I? No, we were in a place called Cong, Ireland, which is and the Cong, which is where they filmed an old movie called The Quiet Man, which starred John Wayne and Maureen O'Hara. It won an Oscar and everything, and so we're eating lunch there after we'd kind of done some sightseeing there, and it's just so happened that we had a table right by us that were from Hot Springs, Arkansas, and I started talking about you and our little tour that we're going to do, and they recommended this really great taco restaurant, best tacos in Arkansas, and I said, "You do realize I'm from Texas, right?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, you probably have better tacos."
I hate doing that too. I know I just got back from New York, and my son that was with me was like, "Let's go get tacos." I go, "We're in New York, son. I'm sorry. No, we ain't getting tacos. That's not me being rude. They've got things to offer. Let's go find out what they have to offer
I was the
because
same
they're
way.
never gonna be tacos, son.
No,
We're from
no.
Texas."
They had some Mexican burrito places in Ireland, and I was like, "Do not even ask me if I'm going to go in there." 'Cause the answer is no.
Oh man, that's so funny. All right. Well, love that you just got back from your big journey. That's really,
I
really
need to hear
cool.
about your New York trip too. Whenever we can have another conversation.
We will sit down and we will go. That's a long thing, Gary, because I never want to sleep. I stay up till like 3 in the morning, walking Times Square, and I wake up at 6 in the morning to go jogging in Central Park. But I love every second of it. And the other thing is, oh God, I forgot the other thing. The other thing was nothing brings out my Texan more than when I'm in New York. If I had a nickel for every time I said howdy, howdy.
I don't think I've ever heard you say howdy, and I
I
spent
don't
some
say howdy. I
time
do.
on
I don't say howdy. I say it every once in a while because I lived in College Station for a while. So every once in a while you'll catch me saying howdy. It's not normal. I don't just normally go around doing it, but every once in a while I'll say howdy, like as kind of whenever I'm feeling sunshine, you know what I mean? Or if I'm
Yeah,
in a good mood. It's never a hello, it's always howdy.
I'll go get some sleep.
There it is. Nailed it.
There it
Go
is.
get yourself some sleep. I'll let you get back to that world. Love you big time.
I love
Thank
you
you so
too.
much for all
I'll
right.
talk
Thank
to
you
you
for joining.
soon.
Gotcha.
Bye.